Captain's Log Supplemental.
Fascinating.
Ice out.
Live long and prosper.
But it's a mystery. I don't like mysteries. Give me a bellyache, and I got a beauty right now.
4 phases locked and ready to fire, sir.
In the hands of an adolescent.
I'm a doctor, not a mechanic.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Trekking Poetic, a Trek-rospective. There's that little, like, colon in there. You know? Trekking Poetic, a Trek-rospective. Get all super epic about it. Meanwhile, we're just talking about a kind of a half-assed episode of
We got to make that now. We got to make that graphic.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Trekking Poetic, a Trek-rospective.
And then we go in. Dude, we're making it.
Doing it.
We're making
Here
it.
we go. We have
Well,
our
what
intro.
what it has to do is, we have to have it like fly up, like, you know, in like Trekking Poetic, and then slide across. A Trek-rospective, explode, and then all of a sudden it's just like the three of us like running in slow mo, and we're like,
Dude.
in our Trek uniforms.
Yes.
Oh,
You got it.
We've been there. It's all there.
oh boy, why did I open
You're
my
on that,
mouth?
Vito.
You know,
I had
we're,
to-
we're doing it now. I mean, there's
Yeah,
no turning back.
now.
No.
It's a done deal.
This is what happens when I open up my big fat mouth. That's M-O-U-T.
Mouth.
Mouth. You go shut your mouth. But anyway, we are back. This is the second episode, and as you may or may not know, we are doing a retrospective discussion on every episode of Star Trek, and we mean every episode.
Gonna be here a while, guys.
So we're going to try to keep each episode to a reasonable time length, but it's still going to be hours and hours. You're going to be here after hours, after hours. And there's a lot to talk about. We already did The Cage, the
Original
The
pilot.
The original pilot, the first pilot. Yeah, I can't just say the pilot because then there was a second pilot, but we are doing episode 2 now, and like I explained in the last episode, that doesn't mean the very second one that was filmed or the second one that was actually intended to be released, but the second one or the first, I should say, really. It's episode 2, but the first one that made air date on television, yeah. When was it aired?
September 8th, 1966.
Yeah. So
Star Trek was born.
just in time for when the kiddies were back at school and
Yeah.
and everything, you know, give them something to watch after homework and sit down at their TV trays with their Swanson's TV dinners. And
Swanson's.
you don't know Swanson's?
Don't know Swanson's.
What?
Never heard of Swanson's TV dinner.
What? What are you talking about?
I never like ate TV dinners anyway, really. So I knew Encore. For tasting more, it's Encore.
Yeah, I mean,
But that's about it.
what about Birdseye?
I don't know
Oh
what that
my
is.
God, man!
Never heard of that.
See, this is where like all
Wow.
that age gap comes in, because I'm like I'm like 10 years older than you almost.
But I know
think
what
so.
it is.
Well, but you're older than him.
Was it? Did
By
you have them in
much.
Oklahoma or in Indiana?
We had them in Oklahoma.
Yeah, maybe I just missed out on them. I don't know.
We must
Well,
have.
Swanson was kind of like one of the original like TV dinner makers. Like that
Okay.
was like the classic, especially in the 70s, early 80s, 80s too. But yeah, by the 90s, I think Swanson was still. They might even still be around. I'm
I
not
think
sure.
They are, maybe.
But
Well, like
they,
at the dollar store or something.
yeah, but they're not what they once were. Anyway, we're not here to talk
Anyway.
about TV dinners. We're here to talk about TV shows. And so this the episode we're talking about is the first one that was aired, which is called
The Man Trap.
Yeah.
Fuck the man.
Yeah.
Trap his ass.
Yeah. The Man Trap, otherwise known as the vagine. No. Let's keep it clean, guys. Well, we are getting now into Captain Kirk Star Trek, so we can only keep it so clean.
clean.
That's true.
'cause he was a dirty boy. But yeah, as we talked about on the last one a little bit, it was weird. They filmed the episodes in order of how they had intended them to be aired. And this episode was the 6th episode that was filmed. So this should have been the 6th episode in the series, but the producers and stuff, the execs decided they wanted
this one first.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it had the alien,
The salt vampire.
the salt vampire that had the ghost or the creature of the week kind of
Okay.
format. And
Yeah.
it felt more like the punching. And
They wanted it to be a little bit more suspenseful. Well, I get that because the actual first episode that was filmed was Where No Man Has Gone Before, which if you watch, and we'll get to that later, but if you watch that one, it's another one of those slower moving, more science-y, cerebral kind of episodes. So I could kind of see.
They did that with The Outer Limits as well.
Did they?
Yeah, they wanted it. They originally wanted a cerebral episode as the first one, but then the studio wanted that Monster of the Week story, and they kept pushing it. So
just
definitely
what
like
they wanted back
crossover.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Well, they wanted a 1-2 punch. I mean, I don't think people at that time were really into wanting to think a lot. Maybe I think I don't know.
Sci-Fi hadn't gotten there yet. Sci-Fi was still, by most people's opinion and definition, it was schlock. It was supposed to be stuff that was simple. A good quick scare and chill, and some that you just enjoy with popcorn or a Swanson's TV dinner. And I don't think that was part of what made Trek catch on with people as the show went on, was that a lot of the fans of it were not so much kids as they were like college kids and adults and people that were into science. Some people that worked in it's well known now how many people went on to have jobs, whether it was people that went on to work for NASA, people that went on to work for different tech companies, all that stuff, and based it, so much of their initial interest that influenced them when they were younger, when they were in school or whatever, was from Trek. I mean, why is so much Trek tech now our daily lives? This is Star Trek, man. This is, that's where it came from. So anyway, for people that are listening, I'm holding up my stupid cell phone. So, but anyway, yeah, they had made the new pilot, which was Where No Man Has Gone Before episode. It was good enough and it worked enough that the network greenlit it, but then ultimately said, but that's not what we want to be the first episode. So they ended up basically like swapping places. I think that ends up being like the 6th
Something like that, yeah. It's way
episode,
down there.
which again, like I mentioned in the last episode, is real weird because when you watch that episode, if you watch that 6 episodes in, you're like, whoa, this seems like a huge step back compared to what goes on in Man Trap and Charlie X and Naked Time and all those ones before it, because there were some characters that weren't even there yet. There was costume differences. There was all sorts of inconsistencies. But anyway, they decided to go with this one because it had more of a horror movie kind of plot to it.
And it had less effects they had to apply to it so that they could get it out quicker.
Right. Well, we were talking about it before we started rolling it. One thing that I never knew about it was that the original plan for this episode was there was supposed to be way more effects and apparitions because the M113 salt vampire had the ability to make itself appear to people as whatever it wanted to, based sort of on their desires and stuff like that, which is why it appeared to the one crewman at the beginning of the episode appeared as that kind of
broad he ditched at the last planet.
Yeah.
He never called back after he slept with her. That
Right.
I don't know, the way it came out, that's kind of how she did things. That's how it came
Surprise,
out
I'm
to me.
pregnant. What?
I tracked you down on this random
On this
planet.
random planet. It's like, I'm going to suck all the salt out of you and all your money.
Want it all.
But anyway, and that's another thing too. It's like, there's so many instances in that whole episode of people who are real quick to just abandon like proper like protocol in their jobs. Just all of a sudden it's like, it's like I'm this serious, office, this guy, red shirt and everything, which means you're doomed anyway. But, and I've got to go down to the planet. I've got the serious job to do and I need to stand guard and everything. Whoa, look at that broad. It's like, I'm just going to go waltz off with her. And it's like, didn't they have any training for this?
Well, did the
McCoy did it too.
Yeah, that's true.
And McCoy did it because it was his old flame.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't understand that. Like, what do you mean your wife? Like, don't you know that's not your wife? But I didn't understand. I guess she was on that colony ship or whatever that ship was, and she crashed with the other guy. Is that what was happening? Or she was just on that planet and they had to check up on her? I think I was confused.
I think you're mixing
Okay.
Yeah, I think
stories.
I think it's so. Well, she wasn't with McCoy anymore. She was with that dude.
Okay.
Now. She was
They went there to do research.
Okay.
And
She
they
was-
have to do checkups
That's
every
what I
year.
thought. Okay, yeah.
And that's
with
why they
Crater,
went.
yeah, and everything.
I guess I missed why she was on the planet to begin with.
Yeah, because she
That's
was
why.
with it was McCoy's old flame.
Yeah.
Which that too is just the whole funny thing because it's like
No other doctors?
yeah, and they and they
Used to be McCoy?
yeah, and they come there and it's like and McCoy is just pretty openly like
He's trying to get with her again.
digging
right?
on her. And then like Kirk's all kind of like,
Bro, she's old. What are you doing?
what are you doing, man? Why are you trying to get on her? And not even
It's not like she's got a gray hair on her head. Well, she got a couple grays, McCoy. Kirk was just so like, what are you doing?
furthermore. Yeah.
It's not Kirk's type.
I was just gonna say, and there's at least two problems with that. First of all, God forbid that McCoy want to be with her, even though she's not quite so young and good looking anymore, because we know that's all she's worth, right? He couldn't just love this woman, genuinely, whatever. Second of all, it's like they're talking about this right in front of her fucking dude, like who's just sitting there and like, really? You motherfuckers come to this planet and you're like,
That should have been their first clue, because he should have flipped out about that, but he already knew it wasn't really her.
Yeah.
That should have been their first clue.
yeah, because he was probably like, if you fools even knew what this bitch's mouth actually looks like, like you have at it. You
All yours.
yeah. You want to talk about gray hairs? She's got a couple gray hairs. It's like, fool, she's all gray. She's got a face like an unmade bed. Like, you just don't even know. Like, anyway, the point is it's funny because even it just goes to show, because for people that sit there and don't think that it was that bad or whatever back then and go, well, by then, women's lib had already started happening and all this. It's like, no, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, it still has a ways to go, Please understand, like, we're people, if they're getting offended by us with it, we're just cracking on it. We're not like, we are not condoning toxic male bullshit behavior. So not at all. We're making fun of how ridiculous it is. But anyway, the point is, it's interesting to see that for as forward thinking as Roddenberry was, and as much as he was trying to, and he did put a lot of, at the time, forward thinking kind of, groundbreaking things involving race, sex, gender, all that kind of stuff. Man, it still had a long way to go, especially when it came to the women, because women are still, by and large, on that show, kind of treated like objects.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at the outfits they're wearing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't look like that in Next Gen, dude. Not
No.
that. I mean, not that way, but
Not that short of a
yeah. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, you know, it's.
I mean, I don't know. There's still some flaunting going on of the women in Next Gen.
Oh, there sure is. But they're not wearing like micro skirts.
But they're
you
not
know, and-
quite that boldly. No. But remember that one episode when Riker comes to Troy's quarters and she answers the door in that like white see-through blousey kind of thing?
Like it was yesterday.
It was yesterday, wasn't it?
It was, Megan. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, man. Anyway,
Back to the man trap. Obviously, they're trapped. It's worked.
Yep.
Star
That is
Trek.
true.
Star Trek is the man trap. They put all them good-looking women in it. But in any case, yeah, it's just watching it again. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it's just so funny. Like the things you pick up on that I didn't really think about when I was a kid. You know, just like I said, so much of that, you know, being like, why would you be interested in her, McCoy? I mean, I get that you once loved her, but look at her. You know, and plus she's been boning this old fool on this planet for the last 5 years. You want that sloppy seconds? Christ, you know. It was just the whole premise of that. I'm like, whoa, okay, all right. But yeah, I thought it's a pretty good episode in general. It's got some major flaws. When I was a kid, I get why they wanted to show it first in this regard, because as an adult watching this episode, I'm kind of like, oh boy, this episode's got all sorts of issues. But as a kid, when I first saw this, I was probably like 6 or something like that. This episode scared the shit out of me. Like that vampire thing like freaked me out when it first showed itself, man. Like it was a suspenseful episode for me as a kid, and everything. So
Well, well, it must have been the right move because it was number 1 in its time slot,
right
in the ratings. So
yeah,
I guess they made the right call.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I understand from that point of view. I just think that then if that's the way it was going to go, it would have been better had they planned it that way, I guess is my point.
Right.
I understand the reasoning behind it, saying, okay, we want this to be the first one because we needed to have this much action and suspense and blah, 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 and horror. But it would have been served better had they been written and filmed and planned accordingly.
Well, it seems like things weren't overly organized to be able to do that.
Oh, no.
It was like they showed them all these episodes and stuff. It's like, no, we're gonna go with the 6th one, not the one you plan on.
Right.
And now you're gonna have to play catch up. Why would you do that to the show?
Right.
But
Yeah, because you just they just threw Sulu like right in the middle of that, and you're like, who's this dude?
Right.
yeah.
Like I know who Sulu is, but now it's like, but you didn't lead up to him at all, and all of a sudden he like knows Yeoman Janice like really well, and it's like Captain's reporting to him on the ship. It's like, but what? I don't
Yeah.
get it, you know?
Right. And that's the issue I have with it. That's why I said, and especially growing up, having watched it in the proper filming order and getting so accustomed to that when I had all the volumes on tape. Oh, it's so frustrating trying to watch that now, revisit it. But yeah, speaking of, you had mentioned before about the Telosians were played by women.
Mm-hmm.
One of the women plays the salt vampire
Yes.
that played one of the Telosians. She was that salt vampire, yeah. So there was
Double duty.
went from being a testicle head to a salt sucking, gray haired, crazy broad thing.
Well, Star Trek's kind of known for recycling actors and characters, you know. So I mean, they
Well-
do that in Next Gen and Voyager.
Yeah,
and-
that's true.
Yeah, 2 of the men that die in this episode were actually reused in other future episodes. Like, but they're dead.
yeah.
Yeah. That was another thing that this episode did, is it kind of set a precedence too for being the first one aired. There's a lot of things about this episode that did sort of set up what you were to expect from the show, even if you didn't realize it at the time. Like the fact that there's a bunch of people that work on the Enterprise that are completely fucking expendable. Mm-hmm. For example, in the beginning of the episode, when Kirk, is it Kirk, McCoy? Yeah, it's Kirk, McCoy, mm-hmm. and old
other dude,
horny pants. Yeah, with the chick that he envisions.
Just ditched.
Yeah, his ditched girl. Yeah, prego chick. Yeah, the first guy to bite it. When Kirk is doing his captain's log, and he says, Dr. McCoy and I beamed down to the planet, and it's like,
but there's 3 of you.
McCoy and you're forgetting someone, dude. It's like, there's another dude. Who's that? He's not important. Yeah, don't worry about it. He's gonna be gone in 2 minutes anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's just funny because it and then the same thing with later when they go back down there, and then the next guy bites it and everything. Same thing. It's like, now it's Spock and McCoy, and it's like, this dude. He just set a precedence for, like, you can almost guarantee that if you beam down to the planet, and in his captain's log, if Kirk doesn't mention you,
you're screwed.
You're not coming back, dude.
You bought that life insurance plan for your family because they're going to need it.
You're getting beamed back in a body bag. So, yeah, it's just like little things like that. You were telling me? You were telling me earlier a funny story. I noticed. Here's another thing. Just for folks that don't know, I'm a big toy collector guy. I'm the toy geek here. So. And in the 1970s, when Mego famously was making the first Star Trek toys, they made a play set, an infamously bad but kind of cool play set called the Mission to Gamma 6 play set, which was based on a later episode from like season 2 or 3. I'd have to look that up. We'll get to that when that episode comes later in the year. But it was based on an episode there with this goofy play set that Mego made, which, if you know anything about Mego toys, that's not surprising at all, because a lot of the stuff they made was pretty goofy. Yeah. I was in the cave. The Lilliputians were friendly. Mission to Gamma 6 was a success. But one of the features on the toy was this glove that looked like a plant that a kid could stick his hand into and make it go like this, and to grab, that was not in the Gamma 6 episode. What it was in this episode, The Man Trap, when Yeoman Rand is walking around on the ship, and there's that one plant that's doing that. And as soon as I saw, I'd forgotten. I was like, that's the Gamma 6 plant. And it's so weird that Mego took that from this episode and melded it with the other one, like that. It's so weird. But weren't you telling me that the dude that...
Yeah, it was funny because in the episode she says something. It's like, "Oh, these plants freak me out sometimes because I just feel like they're going to grab me one time." Well, the guy doing the puppet of that plant, he was under the table. He could actually see up her skirt, and he would take the plant and he'd actually grab her, like attack her with it and everything. Again,
so once again,
women, but
once again,
so it did literally attack her.
Star Trek objectifying women. One episode at a time.
Next episode is the sexual harassment lawsuit.
Seriously?
They do that in Charlie X too. Almost.
I know. Oh, Charlie X. Yeah,
it's coming. It's coming.
That's the next one. We're getting to that one next. But anyway,
this was also the first episode we saw green Vulcan blood.
Yep.
And Roddenberry was not happy about it. He actually didn't want that, and he tried to fix it post-production, but it didn't work. So that's how we got green blood.
You green-blooded inhuman. Just rate cock and eyebrow. But yeah, and they also wasn't it supposed to be a whole thing about the original plan, which they later revisited in the Kelvin timeline, was that Spock and Uhura were supposed to hook up.
Yeah. Yeah, this is their first, showing of them flirting together. and there's other episodes and stuff where they were supposed to get together and then things changed. But
Yeah, the one that made that not happen was Shatner.
yeah,
Oh, because he wanted to.
Yeah,
he wanted all the glory.
yeah,
Of course, it's
Yeah.
Shatner.
yeah.
But
Well,
also in Charlie X, they're flirting again. They're laying on it pretty heavy.
yeah, and the Shat was not having that. Can't have
Look at
that
all
for the
action.
Shat. Yeah, and Nichelle Nichols later says that when they did their famous interracial kiss and everything with Kirk and Uhura, that he kept insisting they had to practice it more. Which sounds like Shatner, man. That sounds. So again,
Like you two wouldn't do the same thing, given the chance.
I would, yeah. She,
Yeah.
Well,
man,
I
she
mean-
looked great in that episode, man.
yeah, I mean, she's, wait till you get to the Mirror Mirror episode when she's not wearing a whole hell of a lot. She's got that bare midriff going on and stuff.
Yeah, she was supposed to be covered up more, but they changed that last second.
Yeah.
Snuck that in on them.
Yeah. That's another. Yeah, it's an example of one of the things that they snuck in real
Yeah.
quick. And everything. But we'll talk about that when we get to Mirror Mirror. That's second season, I think so. But in any case, not a whole lot more to say about this one other than I mean, again, I know this is all still. I know you've seen a lot of these before, but this is kind of new to you. I mean, kind of a episode.
Yeah. This is 2 or 3 so far. I'm not sure where I would rank them. Because The Cage so far is number 1.
Well, you don't even have to rank, but just in terms of like real good, like great, real good, okay, poor, fuck this episode.
It's in between okay and poor.
Oh, it's that
Yeah,
low.
there's like a lot of boring parts, especially like the up close, like zoom in on the dude's face for like 3 seconds that don't have anything to do with it.
One of the best things about this episode is that one part. There's the one thing when it's all just a nonstop series of reaction shots.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
So
going back and forth between like 4 of them, and it's like, how long are you gonna do this, man? Like, we got it.
But the best part of the episode was when Crater gets shot by Spock.
dude, yeah.
I literally laughed out loud by myself on the couch at that part.
That
and I
was some-
rewound it 5 times to watch him over and over and over again. It was so fun.
Because it looked like something out of like Three Stooges.
Yeah. That dude, yes.
When they would
Where they
speed
speed it
something
up,
up
yeah,
for
dude.
comedic effect or Benny Hill.
Yeah, dude.
Like a Benny Hill gag. Yeah. I'm totally with you. That is laugh out loud funny. And it's unfortunate. It's a lot of that kind of stuff and a lot of these little bits that make this, that it trips over its own feet too much to make it a really good episode. It's okay. I know some people put this up there in like the top 10. Like some people think this is like,
Yeah, I think it's a good episode. I enjoyed it.
I'd say good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say really good. I'm not going to say great, but I'm not going to say poor or shit. It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't mind seeing this one again, but it's not an automatic like go-to if I'm just looking to put on something. Old Trek episodes is the kind of thing that like after a gig or something like that, I get home, it's 3 a.m. I'm not quite ready to go to sleep yet. I want to eat like a little snack. It's like, I'll put on one episode, 50 minutes. By the time that thing's done, if I even make it that long, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to crash, So there's certain episodes that I would put on. This isn't necessarily, it's not one I would avoid, but it's not one I would be like, oh yeah, I want to watch that,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
All right. I think we're more or less kind of on the same page with that. All right, well then, time to move on. We're going to be
Moving on to Charlie X. I know you two are so excited.
oh yeah, real excited. I'll save my comments for this one once we start doing it, but old Charlie X. Yeah, that's coming up next, folks. So once again, like we said on the last episode, thanks for watching. If you're interested in supporting us, we have a Patreon page. Check it out. We have links and stuff. We also, you can watch past links of the last episode of Trekking Poetic, a Trek-rospective. Boom. Watch out. You can watch that. We have our concurrent little silly show we do called
Starfleet
Geeks. Yeah, which is what they are. A couple of geeks and their commander working for Starfleet, having to deal with all the blowback and problems that Captain Kirk and the Enterprise are causing out there in the galaxy, and leading to comedic situations. If you ever wondered when all the crazy shit that was going on out there with Trek on their the Enterprise and their 5-year mission, wondered what the people back at headquarters of Starfleet had to say about it, we're filling that void.
It's like everything we can do to keep them out of a court martial.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have links to that. And of course, we want to hear what you guys think of this. If you have suggestions, if you have notes, if there's things we missed or things you want to add, man, by all means, leave comments, leave it on whether you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify or any of those, or you're watching us on YouTube and so on and so forth. Let us know. Reach out to us through social media. We're usually pretty quick to talk to you. We want to talk to you guys. So
yeah, we get pretty excited. It's like, oh, we get to talk to somebody.
Yeah. No, we do. Yeah, this is a big part of why we do this. Is we love talking to other geeks. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell.
Very important, guys. Yes.
Super important. So, do you think you want to try it again? Can you do it?
Oh,
this is
not it.
This is an ongoing thing.
Wait, I'm like crossing my fingers. Okay, I got him. All right, it hurts, but I got it.
That's the best. That's the best you're gonna get for Megan when it comes to Vulcan greetings and sayonaras.
I'm working on it.
We're gonna get to the point where we're gonna try to slide a credit card between your fingers to make sure that you got them set enough.
They're like glued together right now. I'm like pressing so hard. Okay, that hurts.
Meanwhile, me and Vito are the band
Ba-bam!
of the hand.
It's almost like we got penguin flippers from Batman Returns, right?
Wow. All right, everybody. We'll see you for episode 3 with Charlie X.
X.
This communication has ended.